Hi, my name is Mackenzie Gioia, and for my honors capstone project, I decided to look into the psychological consequences of fame. I chose this topic because as my favorite child stars grew older, I realized that their lives were not as glamorous as they seemed on TV. When it comes to celebrities and fame, there is a common trend of people having a difficult time adjusting to stardom. I wondered, where within fame does one encounter mental illness, and what are the exact psychological consequences of fame? Many of my favorite childhood stars, like Demi Lovato, have opened up about mental illness, substance abuse, and the overall struggles of being a celebrity. After noticing that this is unfortunately the case for many celebrities, it made me wonder, why is this so common and what could possibly be done to help the situation. Through my studies, I have discovered that fame, along with the lack of privacy, negatively affects many celebrities' brains by increasing the chances of mental illness, specifically in inducing anxiety, depression, and narcissism. In order to properly begin this presentation, I think it is first important to establish what fame is. Some people interpret fame as having 1,000 followers on Instagram, and others interpret fame as being a huge movie star. Some people even define what fame is for themselves, even if no talent is involved. Angeline is a perfect example of this. During the 1980s, she was a famous woman who was famous for nothing in particular. She just kind of always knew she wanted to be famous, and one day she put her image on a billboard, and that's where it all began. Angeline is important to my studies because she proves that fame cannot be limited to one definition. In a book called Claims to Fame, written by Gameson, he states that Angeline also raises questions about celebrity meanings as text and images. What are we to make, for example, of her insistent superficiality, the dependence on a single image, the off-vision of Angeline without Angeline, in which disembodies names alone are famous? What of the claim that celebrities are born with magical selves and that the simultaneously visible, active publicity strategies suggesting that she is being made a star even as she claims celebrity as her inevitable natural fate? So Angeline defines celebrity as she was just simply born to be a celebrity, and that's how it is, whether talent was involved or not. And other people argue that she's not a celebrity at all because she hasn't earned the right. So this is all relevant because it is important to understand that fame itself is a polysemy. That word has so many different interpretations and meanings, and we can't have one definitive definition of that word. So that I thought that was really important for me to understand to going forward. So I needed to understand what fame is first in order to understand the consequences of it. So in a study conducted by Donna Rockwell and David C. Giles, they came to a consensus on the 4 different phases of fame. 1 being love and hate, 2 addiction, 3 acceptance, and 4 adaptation. In the first phase, love and hate, it explains how when fame first hit is a huge ego booster, referred to the high or rush of fame. And they actually compare fame to a drug because of the high it creates. When it first hits, it comes from being praised and adored, but later on, as time goes on, one may discover that there are some things about fame that are hated just as much as the aspects of fame that were once appreciated. And then the second phase is addiction. Like before stated, fame was compared to as a drug, the high of fame. Celebrities can get used to that high, and it can become very addicting, and therefore that's when celebrities really start to fear losing fame. Third is acceptance. It's a difficult process, but it's basically when a celebrity accepts both the good and bad things of fame. And the fourth is adaptation. So after you accept the good and bad of fame, you learn to navigate your life as a celebrity. The majority of celebrities are affected with an unavoidable lack of privacy. People follow, judge, and adore celebrities, which all contribute to this. And this could also cause celebrities to feel like more of an object than a person. It also causes them to always feel like they have a target on their back, which is what makes celebrities experience many emotional issues such as anxiety. Again, this comes from Donna Rockwell. The celebrity suffers a loss of personal freedom in relation to the world and develops a heightened capacity to scan his or her environment in a state of alerted attention in order to assess the possibilities of advance or the need to retreat. The experience of being a celebrity compromises the individual's personal space, which was taken for granted before fame hit. Always feeling apprehensive and cautious is overall not really healthy, and is a huge factor in a lot of the adversities celebrities face every single day. But because there are so many negatives to being famous, like the lack of privacy, why do people choose to be famous? What are the motives? Some people chase for money and power, which we see all the time. And some people desire fame because they simply want to be noticed, loved, and adored by others. So another reason why someone might want to be famous is because they want to stand out and be unique. But overall, as stated before, some motives are just really unhealthy and do contribute to the negative psychological consequences of fame. The University of Rochester states, even though our culture puts a strong emphasis on attaining wealth and fame, pursuing these goals does not contribute to having a satisfying life. The things that make you happy in life are growing as an individual, having loving relationships, and contributing to your community. Furthermore, the study by the University of Rochester revealed that chasing after materialistic things, such as money, contribute to ill-being, anxiety, and overall just a loss of energy. Whereas those who tend to value personal growth tend to be more satisfied and show actually lesser signs of anxiety and stress. Therefore, the motives for wanting to achieve fame already lead to a life of anxiety and stress for many celebrities. So this is important because we need to look at the motives for fame. Those who go into fame expecting money and materialistic things usually have more of a negative outcome. So it is very important to look at the motives because good motives, better outcomes, bad motives, more negative psychological consequences. So, like I stated before, there is a definite connection between anxiety and being a celebrity. The only difference is how each celebrity chooses to cope with their anxiety. Unfortunately, there's a common trend of many celebrities turning to substance abuse to cope with the anxiety that they may face. This is a very unhealthy technique, but there are definitely factors that make it more common for why celebrities choose this route. One, easy access. Many celebrities really don't have money issues, so there's absolutely no struggle in obtaining the drugs or any substances that may be used. Dr. Dale Archer, the medical director for psychiatric services at Lake Charles Memorial Hospital in Louisiana, says, money, power, and fame give individuals avenues to behaviors that can be very self-destructive that other people simply don't have access to. So like stated before, the money, the power, the fame makes it a lot easier to obtain substances. Another reason why celebrities may turn to substances is because they don't really have a normal set work schedule. This leaves a lot of open time to, experiment with substances and turn to them. Third is narcissism. Narcissism is another culprit for why celebrities turn to substance abuse. Narcissism is a personality disorder in which one has a huge self-importance. Narcissists tend to always talk about themselves and fabricate things such as achievements and talents. They can also be very manipulative and take advantage of people without thinking of how it may affect others. Though one feels so special in narcissism, it actually can lead to isolation, which not a lot of people notice, and it can contribute to one's addiction. Narcissism is something that a lot of celebrities experience because they are so used to being praised and loved. This adoration can leave many celebrities having a sense of entitlement. It is common for those who are constantly admired to lose their sense of humility. Narcissists, or many celebrities for that matter, seek outlets for happiness, and for some that just unfortunately tends to be substances. Lastly, another reason why is to keep the high of fame alive. Like I stated before, and from Donna Rockwell's research, she compares fame to a drug often. And when celebrities have a difficult time coping with the loss of not being in the spotlight, they tend to compensate with substances, which is very common and we've seen a lot. So substance abuse is one way that one should not really cope with anxiety because it's very unhealthy, especially there are other healthy ways to cope with anxiety that just aren't talked about as much. According to Alicia H. Clark, who is a psychiatrist, when it comes to knowing how to overcome anxiety, one of the simplest methods we can use is to name what we are experiencing. Whether talking to ourselves, to someone else, or simply writing, language is fundamental in helping us process anxiety. Of all the simple things we can do to calm our anxiety, none will help us understand and work through our feelings more than talking about it. Journaling, talking with a friend, and attending talk therapy all share the common thread of identifying and understanding one's experience via language. So it is important to know healthy coping techniques because there are a lot of celebrities who have actually worked through mental illness and overcame, proving that you can combat the struggles of anxiety in a healthy manner, and which needs to be talked about more because there are a lot of celebrities who are struggling and don't know how to help themselves. So it's very important to talk about these things and the healthy ways to help cope with anxiety. So there are many celebrities that have opened up about their struggles with mental illness. For example, Lady Gaga has opened up about her PTSD struggles, and she talked about how her fan base really helped her pull herself out of that and cope, And Selena Gomez is another one who is a singer, and she opened up about her anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. And she even took a break from her career to help work on herself, which is so important and does need to be normalized more. And lastly, Ellie Goulding is another singer who, at the peak of her career, actually wanted to quit. She didn't know how to deal with her anxiety, and she was really afraid of talking to a therapist. But after getting through that and actually meeting with a therapist, she felt way better, and now she says that she is quite successful in controlling her anxiety. So all these celebrities are really amazing and share a powerful story. It is so important that we continue to normalize mental illness because celebrities are human too, and they face the same struggles we do. We need to acknowledge how important mental health is, and I believe that this is such an important step to tackling the trend of celebrities struggling with mental illness. So, in conclusion, although fame can affect a person in ways such as contributing to mental illness and a lack of privacy, it is still possible to overcome these challenges. By being aware of the struggles, it can help normalize mental illness and make celebrities feel, more comfortable with opening up about the challenges that they may face, like being in the spotlight. Whether it be a movie star or an NBA player, mental illness can become a really serious challenge. And even though it is a negative psychological consequence of fame, it is very important to come to terms with your current state and get the help you may need. Here are my references I used. Thank you.